Welcome back, Fight Fans. This is the DAZN Boxing Show. I go by the name of Vok.
And I'm Barack the Boxing Bully.
Joining us now, friend to the room. He used to be a regular. Now he comes in every now and then. Mr. Matchroom himself, Eddie Hearn.
You just wheel me out for the views every now and again.
Yeah,
we don't get too many views. We don't get
it's a
too
little
many
bit
views.
quiet on social media. Let's bring Eddie out to say something stupid. He's bound.
If anybody can get something stupid out of Eddie, it's Dr. Barack. So let's see what we can get going today. Speaking
Do
of
it
that,
so effortlessly, effortlessly. So
we want to get to November 4th, but before we get into that really quick, Eddie, one thing I want to touch on, because obviously people value your opinion. A lot has gone on since Showtime bowing out of boxing. You've made comments on that. But the one thing that I haven't heard you spoke about is the talks of DAZN making a play, or rumors about making a play with PBC because they don't have a home. And we know Al Heyman and PBC has plenty of fighters, but they don't have a home yet. If you were brought in for advice, even though it's a competitor to some degree, would you be happy of PBC joining also the DAZN platform?
Of course, you only have to look at the offerings that DAZN have across boxing, obviously internationally across some major sporting TV rights. We know that our job, and Matchroom also provides other sports to DAZN, but principally it's boxing, and same for you guys. So the more boxing on the platform, the better it is for us, the better it is for you, the better it is for our fighters, the better it is for subscribers. And the addition of PBC to the platform would be, a good addition. Promotional companies don't exist without a broadcast partner. So right now they don't have a broadcast partner, and that's a risk zone to the business. So they'll be out there trying to do that deal. Obviously talks of Amazon, talks of DAZN. Who knows what's going to happen? But, I think the fighters will be keen to know what's happening soon, because as of now, they don't have a broadcaster. They have a very powerful brand. Al Heyman's very smart. They have some good boxers. I'm sure they'll get some kind of broadcast deal. And if it was with DAZN, it would be fantastic. And it would be even more of a wrap than we've got on this game.
But what about fighters on that? Hold on, Barack. What about fighters on that end? I'm pretty sure a lot of them are worried, nervous right now.
Yeah, we've had a lot of
has there been any conversations with Matchroom, any of those fighters?
Yeah, for sure. We've had, lots of conversations with fighters that have been with a PBC or have fight by fight with a PBC or whatever, because, right now they've got to obviously look at their future. I'm sure they're being told or updated on what's happening, but it's difficult for the PBC to run dates when they don't have a broadcast partner. I'm sure that will evolve, but at the moment, I think there'll be a lot of fighters that probably haven't boxed for a while, maybe haven't even boxed in 2023, that are saying, when am I fighting? So, one of the benefits we have as a business, as a promotional company, is we can put you on anytime we want, anywhere in the world. So, I'm very thankful and grateful that we have a broadcast deal for many, many years locked in, because it's a lonely place without one.
Yeah. This is crazy. I didn't even want to talk about this, but you came to this country 2018 with DAZN and said, "Oh, we're going to take over boxing," and now it kind of seems like you was right.
Listen, I said Showtime would be out of boxing, and I said that I think 3 years ago, and everybody laughed at me. Listen, they definitely hung longer than I expected because they're stubborn, and Stephen Espinoza is a competitor, and I think he's done a good job. There's a lot of people dancing in the streets that Stephen Espinoza is out of boxing and Showtime out of boxing. I'm not one of them, because I feel like they were an important part of the boxing infrastructure and ecosystem, and they've done a great job, and they've had one of their best years this year, So, but I knew 3 years ago it wasn't a sport that was working effectively for them, and they would be out of boxing, and now they are. And it's just a sign of, I think, an inflation of purses for certain fighters that, quite frankly, don't deliver the same commercial value that their purse represents. And I think that has to change in the sport. And we have to make sure we provide competitive matchups. We have to be stricter with managers and lawyers and advisors. We have to push harder for fighters across the card to be in entertaining contests. And that's something we're looking to do, particularly, obviously, moving forward in 2024.
Right. All right. So I want to talk about this huge matchup between Joe Cordina and Edward Vasquez. I know it's not huge, but I think it is. I think that Vasquez has long been overlooked. He had that What was a split decision loss with Raymond Ford? A lot of people were saying that he won. How big of a threat do you think Vasquez is to Cordina?
You know what? I mean, I was there that night and I felt Vasquez could have well got the decision. And look at Ray Ford, what he's gone on to do. I mean, he's about to fight for the world title against Komatov, and many fancy him to be one of the top US stars coming through. I rate Joe Cordina as the top 130-pounder out there. But when O'Shaquie Foster beat Rocky Hernandez in Mexico on Saturday, which was wild,
crazy.
I said to him after the fight, oh, look, you know, you can unify against Cordina now. And he went, he's got to beat Vasquez first. And I said, oh, do you know Vasquez? And he went, I spar with him. He went, that's a serious fight. A serious fight. He said, he is one tough man. So I'm expecting a war in Monaco. I mean, it's a weird environment. It's stunning. It's 350 people, all in tuxedos, bow tie. There's royalty everywhere, but it's a different kind of vibe. You've got to get yourself up for that fight, you know?
Yeah. You know, how many shows, speaking of Monte Carlo, how many shows have you guys done there?
Oh, I mean, we're returning there for the first time in 4 years since COVID. But before that, we did 4 or 5 years there. It's a stunning show. And it's a great card as well. Nosashinga, our light flyweight world champion, that's always in fight of the year contenders. Suli Suzuko's in a big fight. And Ramla Ali is rematching Guzman after that out of the year that she suffered a defeat. That's a brave rematch to take.
No, that's what I wanted to know. Whose idea was that? Did she just go straight in and say, a few months later, I want this rematch?
She was winning the fight. You know, she was winning the fight. She can win the fight. And she was that frustrated. She said, I have to run it back. So listen, big respect to her. But Guzman, full of confidence after that knockout. And that's going to be a brilliant fight.
You know, I was going to put Eddie to the test to read off the whole card in his head, but it's only 4 fights, so this is easy work for him. Easy work for him. I want to ask you about Bubu Andrade, obviously a former fighter. He has a big fight coming up against Benavidez. I know you believed in his skill level for a very long time, understandably so. At this point in his career, after watching Benavidez lately, does Bubu have enough to beat a David Benavidez?
I make Benavidez the favourite in the fight. I think up at 168, activity is key. And, you know, Benavidez is coming off a nice run. I look back at, I know it was at 160, but I look back at fights like Liam Williams. I saw Demetrius Andrade in when he got hurt. And if he's backed up and if he's put under pressure. So the key is the rhythm and the tempo that Benavidez sets. If he lets Andrade outbox him for 6 rounds, Andrade is so sharp in the first 3 or 4 rounds of a fight. But if he can back him up, if he can force the pressure and the work rate in the early stages of the fight, I think he'll stop Demetrius Andrade. I do. And, you know, I think that'll be a big statement.
Before you get out of here, look, the big man, AJ, you know, especially after this Ngannou-Fury fight, any idea on what's next for Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, I mean, he would like to fight in December. I think that could run into January now. We all, you know, before Saturday, the fight we all want is Deontay Wilder. You know, I can't ignore this because of the size, the potential fight with Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua. I mean, two
Nigerians, right?
I mean, no, yeah, and it's like you know, can this take place in Africa? You know, can we revisit the scene of the Rumble in the Jungle 1 for the Rumble in the Jungle 2?
Wow.
Like, you're talking about a massive fight. And AJ never really wanted to fight Ngannou because we had that opportunity before. But he's just beaten Tyson Fury, or in a lot of people's minds, you know? So, I don't know. I mean, for me, I look at that fight. A lot of people now, you know, I was on Ariel Helwani last night. Oh, you know, is there any heavyweight that Francis Ngannou can't beat in the world? I'm like, whoa, calm yourselves down, MMA world. Like, off night, whatever it was, still an amazing performance from Francis Ngannou. But I take AJ to beat him every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. You know, styles make fights. You've got to put the pressure on this guy. You know, it was a weird performance, but really, like I said, I felt when the final bell went, oh my God, this debutant has just beaten the linear heavyweight world champion. So he should have really had his flowers that night and got the moment that would have been just incredible. But, you know, for AJ, whether it's Ngannou next and then Wilder or whatever it's going to play out, I like the Ngannou against AJ fight. I think it's like I said, 2 man mountains. And a lot of people think it's a 50-50 fight in this crazy world after Saturday. So fantastic. Let's roll the dice. We think we win easy.
That was great. Last question before you go. Do you think with all the politics in boxing, you'll be able to make in 2024 an undisputed fight at 130-pound division? All the fighters fight each other?
Look, I think Foster is up for a unification with Cordina. You know, then you have Navarrete as well, you know. So I think it's difficult, but we've got to make a start on that. Let's see Joe Cordina win on Saturday. I think the Foster fight is the one that can be made quite quickly, and then start racking up the belts. I believe he's the number 1 in the division. Let's go out and try and become undisputed.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck on that, Eddie. Thanks for taking the time, man. Good luck. Take it easy.
Cheers, boys. Thank you.
Yes.